Yo, 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 what is up, True Crime World? You are here with Luminol on the Wall, and I'm Bevy.
And I'm Becky.
And Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year! That's right. We made it.
We made it through 2025.
That's right.
Whew!
Good riddance. Actually, I didn't have a bad 2025, to be honest.
Me either. My son was born. It was the best year of my fucking life.
It was also, well, it was pretty close to the best year of my life.
I have to say, I was actually thinking, I saw this post, and you guys just get all the sad mom feelings, honestly. I'm sorry about that, but it was like, you're saying goodbye to the year your baby was born. Like the first time you met your baby, and I was like, no, I'm just kidding. But it did make me emotional. I was feeling sad a bit. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. This year was the year I met like my baby, and now that year is over.
On to the next.
Yeah.
No big deal.
No big
Just
deal.
kidding. But there's lots of firsts that have happened and will continue to happen. So that is also like so exciting as a mom, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks for keeping me grounded. I sometimes need that because I can get all up in my feels.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone knows, which I'm sure you do if you've been listening to us long enough, and for those who are new listeners, welcome. But also, here's a little bit of a fact about Rebecca. She loves New Year's goals. So, Becky.
I was wondering where you're going with this. Yes.
What are your New Year's goals this year?
Okay.
And did you accomplish any from last year?
Yes, I bought a car.
Hell,
So that was like
yeah.
my big one.
Okay.
To be honest, I made more money last year than I did the year before. So those were my like two main goals and I did it. So I was pretty happy. I also had a lot more fun last year than the year before, I think. So yeah, I would consider 2025 very successful for goal setting.
Amazing.
Now, this year.
Yeah. Let's get down to business.
Okay.
All right. Let's hear it.
Everyone can hold me accountable for this.
Oh, shit.
I know. No, it is prioritizing myself before other people.
Oh, my God.
Now, I do think I struggle with that.
Oh, I'm going to take a hit.
Don't worry, you're still high on my priority list, but maybe a little bit. Because
as I like forced you to stay to my house till 1 a.m. the other day to watch Wicked, you were probably like, God damn.
Keep in mind, it's also like 11 p.m. and we're just like starting to record our podcast. Like,
hey, my son had a hell of a time tonight. That was unfortunate, but it's true.
He did, but we'll start this tomorrow. Obviously, these were things like out of my control and like, I mean, the Wicked one I had full control over and I chose to stay, but it was a Saturday, so whatever.
And I totally manipulated you and I meant to. I was like I was like popping popcorn and like, look at all the seasoning I got from the popcorn.
This is like how it started. I just hear Bev say, Craig, did you look up the thing I said too? And I looked over and I was like, I already know what's happening because I saw Craig. I was sitting right beside him when he was looking up Wicked.
Oh.
And I was like,
he's not secretive at all.
No, I was sitting right beside him and I was like, that's why I knew it was coming when you said that. I was like, I know what I'm in for. But it was totally like, it was still a great night, so I don't regret it.
Aside from the fact that Wicked 2 was kind of like, wah, 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 compared to the first. That was lame. It was like, oh.
Whatever. They're all still beautiful singers and I loved all the like color. It was
yeah,
well done that way. So
yeah, there was good moments for sure. It just was like, I think like not as much happening in the second act as the first. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, back to my goals.
Back to your goals. Oh my God.
No, so my goal is to prioritize myself before others.
Okay.
So everyone hold me accountable. Feel free to ask me, how much time are you spending at Bev's house this week? And I will have to be honest.
I have to say, though, like, you talk to your man about that because he's the one always going, go see your nephew, go see your sister. Like today, I would have asked nicely, but
he did encourage it.
He always encourages it.
Because he likes to facilitate my good relationships with people.
Oh, I see.
As much as possible, you know?
Is that why?
No, he's probably, get the fuck out of the house, Becky.
Yeah, he's like, I need some time alone. Let me play my game in peace.
Yeah,
get out of here.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm just looking to, work out before I come here. Make sure I am not staying up too late throughout the week. And Probably just, better skincare.
You have some like self-care goals for the new year, and
Yeah.
that's fine. That's great. But that there seems to be a little bit of a theme.
Self-care.
I don't normally have goals. You know me.
It's
But I
true.
do.
What?
But I do.
Okay, just for the record, if you have not listened to our podcast in like the 3 years we've been doing this,
Uh-huh.
Bev never sets a goddamn goal, and it
I
drives
don't.
me nuts because I'm like, why is she my fucking sister? How are we so fucking different?
Yeah.
Just
I
saying,
fly
okay?
by the seat of my pants. I kind
Yeah.
of yeah. I just find goals to be a little bit like once I set them and then I don't do anything, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of the person if I'm held up, if I try and hold myself accountable to something, I like push back on it. I need to just like trick myself into thinking I'm doing something almost.
Yes.
Like, oh, I just worked out one day. Just felt like it today.
Oh my God, I'm totally hitting my goals.
No, I'm just like, oh, I don't, if I'm like, I'm going to work out 5 times a week, then I'm just like, don't feel like working out at all, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like I have to have the freedom. Like,
Yeah.
That's why when
You do.
I remember starting the podcast, I was like, Becky, I'm going to be like, I can't have one night a week where I'm just like occupied every week. Like, that just seems so, like, so exhausting to me. Remember?
Oh,
I've gotten
I
better.
so remember. And if you think you didn't hear correctly, yes, she said one night a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what it is about my personality. Okay, anyways, but I do have a goal
Yes,
this year.
Tell everyone, what is your goal, girl?
Well, it's kind of funny because I had a very similar goal to you. It was like I want to prioritize putting myself first and not feeling obligated to do things that other people want me to do.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of figure out things that I really like doing cuz like I tend to prioritize you know, Craig Coulson, you,
Yes.
mom, and like spending time with people if they ask me to, like that type of thing. And then, or like cleaning my house, like making sure things are organized and things, just like things like that, that are just kind of like not my identity,
Mm-hmm.
rooted in my identity. Like they kind of have become that way, but like my personal interest, things I genuinely enjoy doing, I just don't do enough of. And I feel like it's hard to like really know yourself when you aren't doing the things that you like. Like you kind of forget. Like, am I my own person?
Or am
Can
I
I do
just a
things
mother
just
and
because I
wife?
want to? Yeah. So
Yeah, like, can I paint on a Saturday afternoon? Yes, you can,
exactly.
Bevy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
things like that. That's what I want to
Cool,
do.
cool, cool, cool. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Good goals. Look at us. Self-care.
Yeah.
Love it. Good for us.
Yeah.
So, if you have some pretty cool or just, generic self goals like we do, like just put yourself first because you matter. Feel free to share them. It's always fun to hear what people's goals are.
Yeah. Amen, sister.
Yep. So, share away, everyone.
Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things before we get into the case. Number one, as you know, our merch store is live, and the link is in our highlights on our Instagram page. So hit that up if you want to rep Luminol on the wall. Secondly, we also have an option for any one of our listeners to buy us a coffee and support our show that way. So the link for that is in our bio, and if you choose to do that, we will be eternally grateful to you. And last but not least, always a reminder to download our weekly episodes because it definitely helps us out. So, with that, Becky, take it away.
All right. Thanks for that, Bev. Well, Yingying Zhang was born on December 21st, 1990, in the city of Nanping, China. To Rongao Zhang and Lifeng, she also had one younger brother, Zhang Yang. In 2013, Yingying graduated at the top of her class from Sun Yat-sen University. Now, Yingying was outgoing and she was just a super loving person. In university, she was also the lead singer of a band called Cute Horse. Apparently, one of her favorite songs to perform was The Rose by Bette Midler. Bevy, do you know that song?
I feel like I do. Why don't you give me a little bit of a one-liner from it?
Some say love.
Yes, I know that song.
Okay,
You didn't
good.
even hesitate, but
No,
yeah,
I
very
didn't.
nice. I love it.
So I feel like she was just like a super cool person, just had lots of interests and, like super academic. Now, in university, she also met her boyfriend, Ho Xiaolin. And then in 2016, she earned a master's degree from Peking University. as an environmental engineer. Yingying was highly driven in her education and career, and she was passionate about learning, and eventually she wanted to teach as a professor at the university level. Yingying was also very independent. That is why, after she got her master's, she decided to study abroad. This was a way to expand her knowledge as well as her life experience. So, she decided to move. In April of 2017, she arrived in Champaign, Illinois. She was there for 1 year to conduct research on photosynthesis and crop productivity. And she did this at the University of Illinois through the Department of Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences, known as ACES. She was also thinking of entering the doctoral program at that university, but her ultimate goal was to return to China and become a professor. When Yingying arrived in the US, she didn't really know anyone, but she quickly made acquaintances with her coworkers and started getting to know people through the Chinese community in Champaign. Yingying had only been in the US for a couple months, and things were going rather well. Now, Friday, June 9th, 2017, rolled around just like any other day. Yingying went into her lab in the morning, where she was working on her research, and around noon she went back to her apartment in Orchard Downs on the southeast side of campus. She had lunch and then she took the bus and headed to an appointment she had made to sign a new lease at a new apartment on North Lincoln Avenue. She was looking to move, get some roommates, and make some new friends. After this appointment, she was supposed to return to the lab, but she didn't return, and her supervisor became worried right away. Yingying was a super punctual person, and there was no way she would even be late without a text. Never mind a no-show. So everyone started calling Yingying's cell phone, but there was no answer. Later that evening, Yingying had dinner plans with some of her colleagues, but when they still couldn't get a hold of her and she didn't show up for dinner, they knew this was bad. By 9 p.m., she had been MIA for about 8 hours, so her colleagues reported her missing to the university's police department. And the university police department started looking for her right away. They went to her apartment, as well as the other known areas around campus that were frequented by students, but she was nowhere to be seen. The following day, June 10th, police contacted everyone who knew Yingying, and that's when they learned that she had been heading to this new apartment. Police then head out to speak with the apartment manager. He said that Yingying had texted him saying she was running late and that she was going to be there around 2:10 p.m. But a few hours went by and she didn't show up. The manager sent a text checking in and asking if she was on her way, but she just didn't respond. That same day, local Chinese student organizations and other people in the Chinese community rallied and got to work hanging posters of Yingying all over the area. They did a lot to spread the word about Yingying's disappearance. Meanwhile, the university police started gathering as much surveillance footage as possible, including bus cameras. They also obtained emergency records for her cell phone to see which cell towers it had been pinging off of. On top of that, a number of off-duty police officers came in to help review all of the surveillance footage that had been acquired, because there were hours and hours of footage. And as we know, Bev, time is of the essence.
Well, that's obviously nice for off-duty police officers to come in. I mean, anytime somebody views their job as more of a duty than just like a means to gain a paycheck, I think it's good, especially in situations like this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, fortunately, all this extra help really paid off, Bev, because the first clue came from a bus camera that was right outside of Yingying's apartment. She had gotten on a bus, and at the time she seemed super happy, giving a smile to the driver, showing her bus pass, and then sitting down. And while she was on the bus, she pulled out her cell phone, and it appeared that she was sending a text message. Police knew from the apartment manager's phone records that this was when she sent him a text. Then when she got to Central Campus, she got off that bus to catch her connecting bus that was heading north. But the only problem was that the timing was off and she actually missed the second bus just by seconds. She was even seen running after the bus trying to catch it, but she was just too late. And at that point, there was no more footage of her on the bus systems. So obviously, the police continued searching other security footage, and the following day they found video from a parking garage across the street from Yingying's second bus stop. It showed her waiting at the corner of Clark and Goodwin, waiting for her next bus. And not long after, she was seen on camera when a black car pulled up on the road beside her. She walked up to the window and ended up speaking with the individual inside for about a minute or so. She opened the passenger side door and got in, and the vehicle drove off.
Yikes. You would hope and pray that she knew that person.
You would.
Because if not, to me, that's just like sketchy. It's always sketchy when like a random stranger offers you a ride somewhere or something, you know, and to get in, like, I don't know. For me, it's a hell no, brother. I think I said on a couple of other podcasts, like that person that tried to get me in their car. I had
Yep.
that happen twice when I was in Edmonton. And each time it freaked me the fuck out. Granted, it was late at night, but still,
Still.
I'm not getting in no stranger's car.
That's right. So no hitchhiking for Bevy, that's for
Hitchhiking
sure.
days are over.
Were
They're
they
fucking
ever a
done.
thing? Yeah.
They are actually, because Dad did pick up a hitchhiker when
Oh,
we were on our way
yeah.
to Edmonton, remember? That was
Yes.
weird.
Mom was so mad.
I don't remember that. Actually, I don't remember that. But that's funny. I'd be mad too. I'd be like, what the fuck? Turns out they were nice people,
Yeah. Dad did a good deed,
and it was fine. But yeah,
but you just
I'm not
never know who
getting-
you're letting in your car, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Or whose car you're getting into.
Yep. So at this point, police believed Yingying had been kidnapped. And so the state police called the FBI for their assistance. And we've talked about this a couple times, that when there's a suspected kidnapping, police will often call the FBI because it can go across state lines and then they lose jurisdiction. And the FBI has nationwide resources at the palm of their hands, whereas local police don't. So within their investigation, what really solidified that Yingying had not left on her own accord was when they found her journal in her apartment. She wrote in it nearly every day, documenting her life in Illinois, and the overall consensus was that she was really happy with her experience in the USA so far. She was also excited to marry her long-term boyfriend in October, so only a few months away.
So they're not thinking like she's just gonna dip out on her life at this point, right? She's got a lot of things to look forward to. And by her own words, she's literally excited.
Yes. So these were 100% the words of someone who was enjoying their experience and had a lot to look forward to in the future, and as you said, would not choose to leave on her own. So when the FBI arrived, they headed to the university police station and got caught up on what was going on. By this point, the police had actually been informed that on the morning of June 9th, around 9:30, 10 a.m., the same day Yingying was last seen, another female student named Emily had been approached by a black four-door vehicle, and the driver was unknown to her. But he rolled down the window and said something she couldn't really make out, so she stepped a bit closer. He then said, "Hi, I'm an undercover cop doing some work in the area. Could I ask you some questions?" Emily said yes, because, why not answer a cop's questions, right?
Mhm.
Emily said that he then held up what looked to be a badge, but she noticed it looked a little hoaxy. It appeared to be black plastic and had a silver star on it, kind of like, like a child sheriff's toy badge.
Uh-oh.
The man then asked her to get in the car so he could ask her these questions. But
No.
Yeah, no. Something felt really off, and she said no. She said the man seemed a bit surprised when she said no, but he said, "Okay, well, if you see anything suspicious in the area, can you please give the police a call?" She said she would, and they both went on their way. Now, this interaction concerned Emily enough, so she called the non-emergency police line. And after explaining what had happened, they actually dispatched her through to 911. Obviously, this was concerning to them as well.
Well, it's somebody potentially impersonating a police officer.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
it
Asking
is.
a girl to get in a car, like that is concerning. That's super concerning. I mean, we have seen this ruse before
Yes.
in serial killers, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah,
It's not to be taken lightly.
that's fair.
So not only did Emily call the police, but she had also made a Facebook post explaining the situation and ended the post with, "If this happens to you, do not get in the car," in all capital letters, giving her fellow students and friends like forewarning that there's some fucking creep in the area, like don't fall for his goddamn ruse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Despite having a fair amount of footage of the vehicle Yingying got into, none of it showed a license plate, which is kind of a letdown, right? Because you're like, God, that could help us so much.
Yeah, now they have to look at and see if there's any characteristic things on the car that stand out or, things like that. That just makes it a lot more difficult.
Exactly. The good thing is that the footage was clear enough for investigators to determine the make and model. It was a Saturn Astra hatchback. And then on Monday, June 12th, the FBI decided to release the footage of Yingying getting into the Astra in hopes it would stir up new leads. And news outlets everywhere aired this video. So they wanted it to become viral. They wanted everyone to see that this guy is no joke.
Well, yeah, and not only that, they need help figuring out who has this freaking car. And imagine somebody's like, "Oh, my neighbor actually has that exact car."
I'm going to
Might
call the police.
yeah, it might help them out in that regard as well.
Absolutely. So while they're waiting for tips to come in, the FBI do their due diligence and they learn that there were only 26 Saturn Astras in Champaign County.
Oh, hell yeah.
And of those 26, only 18 were hatchbacks. So that narrowed down the list quite a bit, and they went through the list of all the owners and spoke with them each individually. One of the registered owners was a couple in the area, and the husband's name was Brent Christensen. When investigators go speak with Brent, he tells them he just finished school. He was a physics graduate student at the University of Illinois. At that time, classes were already finished for the summer, and he wasn't working. When they asked what he had been up to on June 9th, he said he hadn't left his house all day. He had been playing video games, which I know a fair amount of people that do that, so it's not a great alibi, but it's definitely possible,
Sure, but does he have someone to corroborate his account of his whereabouts on that day, Becky?
It's not sounding like it, because in fact, on June 9th, Brent's wife had been out of town and had receipts to prove it. So she wasn't even there to be like, yeah, he was, being a cute little nerd all day. Game in.
Right,
None
so
of that.
basically, he doesn't have a solid alibi.
Exactly. So at the very least, they could determine that his wife definitely had nothing to do with this because she had receipts to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brent also allowed the officers to look at his Astra. It was fairly clean, but nothing really stood out. And they eventually moved on to the next Astra owner on the list. Now, as the investigators continued to scour surveillance footage, one officer noticed that the Astra they were looking for had damage on the front passenger side hubcap. It looked like it had just maybe kissed the curb and a piece cracked off or was majorly scuffed. They also noticed in some of the footage that this particular Saturn had a large sunroof. When this was realized, one officer spoke up, remembering that Brent Christensen's Astra also had a large sunroof. So the lead investigator advised officers to go check out Brent's hubcap to see if they had the same damage. And when they did, they took a photo and it appeared to have identical damage. So as they're sitting, they now have a potential suspect, Brent Christensen. So the FBI's theory at this point is whoever approached Emily pretended to be an undercover officer, and this man was the same man who took Yingying. So they called Emily in to do a photo lineup. Police didn't tell Emily anything about Yingying or the case. They simply instructed her just to flip over the photos that were laid out and let them know if she recognized anyone. She eventually flipped over Brent Christensen's photo and very confidently said he was the man who had approached her that morning. So now the FBI have matched Brent's car to the surveillance footage and identified him in a photo lineup. So they asked him if he would come down to the FBI headquarters. And you know what, Bev? He did. And when they speak with Brent, they just come out and say that what he initially told the police about being at home all day playing video games was a lie.
Just call him right out?
Yeah, you lied. And Brent says, why would I lie? Oh, because you maybe did something really bad, you dummy.
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons why.
Oh, why would I lie? I'm just such a good, honest person. Why? Yeah, okay. They explained that they had CCTV footage of Yingying getting into his car, and they wanted to know why she would have done that. And they also wanted to know where he took her. At this point, I think it's probably safe to say and assume that Brent already knew that they had the surveillance footage of Yingying getting into his car because of all the media surrounding it.
Right.
So Brent's story changes and he tells them, yes, she was in his car, but no more than 5 minutes. He explained he'd only driven her a few blocks before she'd gotten out. Apparently, he took a wrong turn from the directions that Yingying had gave him, and it was enough to spook her. So he pulled over, and she got out of the car in a residential neighborhood.
And that was the last he saw her.
And that was the last he saw her, and he had no idea where she went after that.
Classic downplay, right? It's got to be.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of know the motive was probably pretty bad if you're impersonating an officer with Emily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he doesn't know about that, like, he probably doesn't know that they know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you most likely did the same thing with Ying, and obviously your intention was not good. So
Not
I
good.
highly doubt you left her out, but it's kind of freaky, his statement here, because oftentimes when you see someone lie, they'll do like a half truth, but they'll downplay it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when he says like he had taken a wrong turn and it spooked her, it kind of makes me sad because like he probably did take a weird turn, probably decently away, taking her away from like where she was at the time.
Yeah, or where she felt comfortable being, right?
Yeah, and it probably did freak her out.
Yeah,
And that's kind of sad to me,
for
right?
sure. Yeah, the half-truth is sad. Now, after this statement, detectives tried to get more information out of Brent, but he wasn't giving them anything else. Now, ultimately, the FBI debated if they should arrest him on the spot because they think he's like this evil psychopath, or let him go. The problem is if they arrest him right now, they kind of pigeonhole themselves because there is like, when people get arrested, there's a certain amount of time that investigators have to prove, like, show the evidence that they have to be like, this is why we're arresting him,
Totally.
right?
And they don't have much. Like with regard, they know that they can place him with Ying,
Mm-hmm.
obviously,
Yeah.
but they don't even know what has happened to Ying at this point. Like there's no body, there's no evidence pointing towards her even, dying. So yeah, they definitely have to get a lot more at this time.
Exactly.
So they have to play it cool.
They have to play it cool.
Yes,
So-
we believe your half truth.
Sure.
Be on your merry way.
Be on your merry way. And so they do let him go, but they believe that he is a dangerous man and he is put under 24-hour surveillance, as he should be. Now, as the investigation was unfolding, Yingying's family was rushing to get to the U.S. They're like on the other side of the world. They are in China. They are so far away. I could imagine that they are highly stressed, being so far away, rushing to get to the U.S. and so sad and scared.
Yeah, probably feeling an intense amount of panic. All while trying to get a ton of shit accomplished to like get to the United States.
Exactly. So when the Zhang family arrived, they really didn't have much information about the case. And they also had no idea that the FBI had a suspect already. Her family had met with news stations to plead with the community to help find Yingying because they truly felt that she would return home shortly. That if they reached out to the right people or the right person heard their pleas, that she would be reunited with her family. One of her father's quotes was translated as, "Yingying, be strong. Dad is coming for you."
Oh, God.
So you can imagine just seeing that on the news station and hearing those pleas. Like, that is absolutely heartbreaking. And I just can't even imagine, like, what they're going through. They're in this completely foreign country and their daughter's missing. Like, I would feel so out of control and just like, what can I do? It would be just real fucking tough. So, behind the scenes, from what Yingying's family knows, Brent's wife had been contacted by the FBI, and she gave them consent to search their apartment. The FBI had also obtained warrants to test for DNA in the apartment and Brent's vehicle. So they seized the couple's Saturn as well as the majority of their electronics, including computers and cell phones. When those were searched, investigators found internet searches for sexually graphic material that included violent content. This material was found in photos, chat groups, and forums. One of the sites that stood out was called FetLife, and it had been frequently visited. Now, I didn't know what FetLife was, but it is described online as a Facebook for kinksters, with people looking for BDSM, fetishism, and other alternative sexual lifestyles. When the FBI spoke with Brent's wife, she explained that their relationship was not going well at that time, and they were in an open relationship and seeing other people. She mentioned that earlier that year, Brent had met a young woman in her 20s on a dating app who was interested in having sex with him. And eventually they began dating and they grew fairly close. So the FBI know that they need to go speak with this woman. And when they did, she told them that Brent had said some questionable things about her or to her about Yingying. This woman believed that he had knowledge of what happened to Yingying or had done something related to her disappearance. Brent's girlfriend eventually agreed to work with the FBI and wear a wire to record her conversations with him.
Damn. Honestly, the thing that kind of frustrates me about this is that she already believed that Brent had done questionable things to Ying Yang and didn't come forward with that information. Now, I mean, if she was somehow fearful of Brent, okay, I
I
kind of get
mean,
it, but like, that's kind of wild. Like, he obviously made some type of admission to her, and she just kept that close, like, knowing that somebody's life could potentially be at risk. I don't know.
exactly.
It's kind of like you shouldn't wait for the police to come contact you. I
That's
don't know.
true. She is quite a bit younger than him. So I can understand, like, we've talked lots about it, like the power dynamic. Like, he's older. He confided in her about something really terrible that he may have done. Fear is a huge reason why people don't act on things, right? Or don't move forward, or, you
Don't
know?
believe, even. That's another one. They don't
Yeah.
necessarily believe. But I think we talked about this last week where, some of the military personnel that knew Tyrone Hassel and his wife's relationship, they didn't come forward with, pretty damning relationship statuses between, you know, their coworker and his wife. And we kind of like said, if you know something, say it. And I think this is a situation where I feel the same about it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't hurt to mention it. Like that Emily girl who called the non emergency phone line, police line. That's great. If you see something weird, say it. Like, she could have called the non emergency and be like, hey, my boyfriend said something, not sure. Like, it just doesn't
Maybe look into
hurt.
it,
It just
right?
doesn't hurt to do it.
Exactly. The only good thing I can say about this woman is that at least when she was confronted with this situation, she still chose to say something instead of keep that a secret. So,
Yeah, like maybe it was weighing heavily on her.
yeah. Now, keep in mind this investigation was moving really fast as well, Bev. So,
I mean, there
it's
was
not like,
10 days though. Who knows? Like
yeah,
there was like she'd already been missing for
a
many
while.
days.
Yeah.
So we don't know when he told her, but I'm
Yes.
still gonna say it. If you know something, say it. I
Say
want to
it.
be an advocate for that
Yeah.
because I think too many times people have important information about a case. They keep it close to their chest, maybe don't think it's valuable or whatnot, and it could potentially be the thing that causes a case to break open. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm just like, err on the side of caution. Always say it. Always
Always.
call it in,
Yeah. If it led to nothing, you can have a free conscience knowing that you didn't have valuable information and didn't say anything, right?
Yeah.
So, now what's really interesting is that as the FBI was speaking with this woman, she actually received a text from Brent, and he was asking her to attend a concert and walk with him on June 29th. This concert and walk was for Ying Ying. It had been planned by her family with the help of the Chinese community in the area. And again, they wanted to bring awareness to the public about Ying Ying's disappearance. Now, this was a perfect time for the FBI to set this woman up with a recording device and told her to go and record this conversation.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like she already had agreed, but they're like, ooh, this is right away. Perfect timing.
It's like divine intervention almost.
Yeah.
But wait, did I hear it right that Brent wanted to attend the walk that Yingying's family had, like, organized for her?
Yes, you heard that correctly.
All right. As the prime suspect, that's a little creepy to me, but
Super bold.
go on.
The worst part worst part for him, good part for the FBI. At the time, they had him under surveillance by the FBI. So it was all on camera, and their whole conversation was recorded, which for the case is great. But what a dickhead for going to this walk,
Yeah.
knowing what he knows.
Yeah.
So at the concert and walk, Yingying's family pleaded with the crowd to help them find her. As I said before, they were holding out hope that Yingying could still be found alive and returned home. As Brent and his girlfriend attended the walk and heard what the family was saying, so at this time, a conversation that is very relevant to this case happens, and myself and Bev are going to read it, and I will start with what Brent says after he hears what the family said about Yingying. He says, all these people are here tonight. They want her home safe, and it's just, what are they talking about? They have no idea what happened. He starts laughing. Nobody knows what happened.
The girlfriend says, nobody will know what happened.
Except for me. I am the only one. She was valiant. She was.
She was? Did she fight?
More than anyone else. She fought more than anyone else I've ever met.
Did you have sexy time?
Yeah, but I didn't orgasm. Yingying is the only person that has produced evidence that leads back to me. Number 13. I've been at this since I was 19. She was resilient. Truly resilient. I tried to choke her to death, but she didn't. I stabbed her neck, and she didn't die. I couldn't believe it. Like, she just didn't die. It was unbelievable. Supernatural almost. How she just didn't give up.
She fought until she couldn't?
She was beyond that. I choked her for must have been 10 minutes with my hands. Then I released her. Her breath. She was still breathing hoarsely. She did. I couldn't believe it, that she was still alive. So I carried her into my bathtub. I got the bat, and I hit her on the head as hard as I could, and it broke her head open. I didn't know at that point. I wasn't sure if she was dead or not, so I had a knife, and I stabbed her in the neck, and she grabbed for it. It was unbelievable. So I chopped her head off and said that was the end of it.
Is 13 really a big number? I don't know much about numbers.
It's bigger than Jeffrey Dahmer, bigger than John Wayne Gacy. I have caught the nation's attention, apparently. I didn't want to, but I still did. Within that conversation, Brent also told his girlfriend that when the FBI told his wife what he may have done, which was true, he said, she almost divorced him. So, obviously, you can see how important this conversation is to the case.
Yeah, it's a full-on fucking confession is what it is.
Yes, it is.
Jesus, with such terrible details. Like, I hate hearing him talk like that.
Just so casual.
Yeah, nonchalant. Like, I don't know. It just seems like,
Honestly, it seems unbelievable that this is going on during the walk. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot more to this conversation. And if we were to read it all, it would probably take hours. So a lot of it is just like nonsense too, just chit chat between two people.
but these are the main points.
These are the main points.
Ugh.
And I would be really curious to know what is going through his girlfriend's head at this point, because I heard the recording, I read the transcripts, and she is either giving the performance of her life, or this is not phasing her at all, because she's just going on like this is some normal conversation you have on a goddamn date. And on top of it, Bev, they're drinking throughout that evening. Like, they're literally on a date. It is so fucked. I cannot even imagine.
Well, then you pair that with the fact that he's made admissions to her about this before, as she has said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, was she that chill about it before? Or could it just be like a way to kind of cope with the information you're hearing, right? It's like um you're hearing such extreme things that you kind of just take on the mask of like curious observer to the statements that are being said
Yeah.
and don't really let them sink in.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that's what she's doing.
True. She also knows that this is being recorded,
Right.
so maybe she wants to get
As much as she
max
can.
info.
It's like don't react, stay neutral, you know?
Act like nothing is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I'm not working with
exactly.
the FBI.
Right? So, I mean, I feel like maybe that's what she's doing, but
It's hard to say.
I don't know. And just like really upsets me to hear him talk about her like yin yang in the way that he does. It's like he's saying the most fucked up shit of ending her life. And he's just talking about it as though it's like another Tuesday of his life. Like I did the dishes. Like I, went to bed. The alarm clock wouldn't turn on. Like, la, la, la. Like, just like, I don't know. It's just such a disregard for human life that it makes it really jarring to hear.
For sure.
And it's not every moment that we hear from the mouth of a killer, like the last moments of someone's life, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like really tough to even hear, to be
It's-
honest.
You like can't even really comprehend it, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, how casual he spoke about it honestly, I think it was way more graphic and way more tragic than how he's making it seem.
I mean, he cut off her fucking head.
I know, but he just said it so like, oh, so just like cut off her head, no big deal. For sure she was dead then.
Yeah.
Like that's,
I know.
but
I
it's
know,
like a
so fucked up.
gruesome, fucked up thing. And he's just so
Yeah.
like, la-di-da. Yep, next thing done.
Yeah.
So it's messed up.
And he's a fucking serial killer. And also, let's just talk about the fucking notoriety that some of these killers want. It's sickening.
Yeah.
Like, you know how they say they show up at funerals and like investigators sometimes look at the guests that go to funerals of people? Like he's doing something very similar here with going to the walk.
Yep. He sure is. He's seen like what he's created, basically.
Yeah, he's like, oh, look at all these people that like, they're coming here because of what I did.
Cool.
Like, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it totally is. So as you can imagine, the police or the FBI heard everything that he said.
Yeah.
The next day on June 30th, they now believe they had enough evidence to arrest Brent. He was charged with kidnapping under federal law. Now, this law states that because it's federal, if it could be proven that Yingying had died under these kidnapping circumstances, Brent could face the death penalty or life in prison.
Well, I mean, they have access to his home, so let's hope he, they kept a murder weapon there or there's blood evidence or whatnot so that they can prove that, because I think he deserves both of those things, to be quite frank.
So before we get into that, a few days later on July 5th, Brent was denied bail. Now, his attorney really tried to fight against that. He argued that Brent had no previous charges, and he claimed that he was not a danger to the community, which surely that must just be a formality of an argument, because clearly he's a danger to the community.
Yeah, and apparently 13 other people.
Right? So either way, the judge was like, no, he is a danger. He gets no bail. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. Now, a few days later, on July 12th, a federal grand jury formally indicted Brent Christensen for kidnapping Yingying. The indictment alleged that Brent willfully and unlawfully seized, confined, persuaded by means of deception, decoyed, kidnapped, abducted, and carried away Yingying and held her for his own benefit and purpose.
Yep.
So, yeah, that makes it sound really bad. So I'm glad that's
what I'm
his indictment.
Guessing here, at least I'm not really guessing. Like I kind of know. Obviously, he's getting charged with kidnapping because they do not have a body at this time.
Correct.
Yeah.
So a couple days after his indictment, at his arraignment on July 20th, Brent pled not guilty. Because hearing how arrogant he was, of course he's going to plead not guilty. I wouldn't expect anything other than that, to be honest. So over the next few months, investigators start getting the DNA results back from the evidence that was submitted for testing from the car and the apartment. And in November 2017, DNA test results confirmed that Yingying had been in the car and the apartment. The evidence supported that Yingying had died in the apartment as well. So, because of that, Brent Christensen's charges were upgraded to kidnapping resulting in death. And as I said before, this upgrade put the death penalty on the table. And because this was now a potential death penalty case, the prosecution was allowed to introduce evidence in trial showing the impact Yingying's death had on her family and friends in the US and back home in China. So they traveled to China to record the impact. They spoke with Yingying's family, her friends, and included important places from her life and showed all her accomplishments, her passions. The impact videos were shown in trial alongside the physical evidence.
Fuck yes. I love that.
Like, screw you, Brent. You're going to have to sit here and just watch how great of a person she was, even though I'm sure you don't care.
Like, yeah, but like, not only that, it's like so nice to not just focus on what he did, because he fucking surely likes that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you're going to see she was a great person. She made an impact on the world and her friends and her family. And the focus then is not just solely on like the last moments of her life and what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more about her as a human being. And I just really like that.
Yeah, I do too. So during the trial, the prosecution told the court that they believed that after Yingying got into Brent's car, he zip-tied her hands, disabled her phone, then he took her to his apartment where he sexually assaulted her, tortured her, and then killed her. What proved that was Yingying's DNA was found on a bat in the apartment, 3 different spots on the mattress. There was DNA under the carpet and behind the baseboards in his bedroom. Although the apartment was thoroughly cleaned, he obviously missed some spots. And thank God for that because of evidence. What is pretty nuts is that the physical evidence supported Brent's confession to his girlfriend. On top of that, at the time the warrants were performed, a cadaver-sniffing dog detected 3 areas in the apartment that a dead body had been. One was in the bathroom, a spot near the door, and the sink.
Oh my God. I just got a horrible visual, and it could be wrong, but that was a horrible visual.
Mm-hmm.
Are we thinking the same thing? Is it about the sink, Becky?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say it, but oh, God.
I know. They also found that there were searches made about the ins and outs of iPhone tracking, and then after the murder, Brent had put in an apartment maintenance request to have his bathroom treated for mold. They also believed that after the murder that he had bought a bunch of Drano as well. Now, you must be asking, why the mold treatment?
Yes.
Now, I actually couldn't find a specific reason in regards to the trial, but when I researched it, apparently mold treatment is very efficient for breaking down the structural component of DNA, but it is still not 100% effective.
Right.
It is a little stronger than bleach. And as we know, just because you bleach something doesn't mean they can't find the DNA or that there was blood in that area. And the Drano was to kill any evidence down the drain. Throughout the whole trial, Bev, Brent Christensen appeared completely emotionless, and he showed no remorse, nothing. In fact, he was seen smirking on several occasions.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks 100% with everything we've heard so far.
Yeah.
Deplorable.
Deplorable. Now, during the trial, which I think this came as kind of a shock to everyone, and it was revealed Brent had previously visited student counseling services at the University of Illinois. He had told the counselor that he had thoughts of harming others. He said those thoughts had never manifested towards specific people, but that there was likely a type of person he would have targeted, explaining that it was more situational than personal, as we can kind of see in regards to Emily and Yingying, because Yingying was from China. She was new to the country, a little more naive, and a different look than Emily, who was local and knew the area well, you know?
Like, outwardly, they're very different.
Yes,
in
outwardly.
appearance.
Yeah. And experience-wise, also very different.
But situationally, they're both, like, alone
walking,
Walking.
no one's around.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, what is interesting is that this showed that leading up to his crime, he wrestled with his desires, but ultimately made a deliberate choice to kill. And he knew it was wrong because he had brought it up to the counselor.
Now, that is like kind of an interesting tidbit of information because he obviously was seeking a little bit of help, maybe. I wonder what the course of action was for that counselor when he brought it up.
That is a very good question.
Like, I wonder if it would have changed anything or if ultimately, he was like, maybe they did get him help and he ultimately still chose to kill. Like, I'm not saying this negates his responsibility for killing people at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder if he did receive help and and what the help was, if he did.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'd be interesting to see if even amidst getting help, you still committed these crimes or if someone totally fucked up and didn't get you help when you obviously are admitting something,
Mm-hmm.
pretty potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, you know?
But I also think, was the counseling his help? We're not therapists or counselors.
No.
So I'd be curious, what is the protocol
Yeah.
if someone comes to you
And says
saying,
I might harm people.
I'm having
Like,
these
yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah.
Like, are you just trying to like talk them off the edge? Or are there other resources? Because I would think that therapy and counseling would be the resources. Or like, do you need to be put into a mental institution at that point? Like, I don't know.
Well, one thing I will say is like you obviously have confidentiality when you go to like a counselor, a
Yeah.
therapist. But I think that ends when you talk about harming others or yourself. I think you like they can break confidentiality in those circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, don't quote me on that, anyone, but I'm pretty sure I have to like double check. But yeah. Either way, I'm like curious to know if like he got help and did it anyway, or if someone totally shucked the buck and didn't get this man help, and then he ended up acting on his desires. Like,
So,
just interesting to
from
think about.
my understanding, from what I've read about this case, is
Mhm.
that he seeked out to talk to someone. And I don't know after that, one, how many times he went back or if he did, and if he was like suggested to go somewhere else, but he seeked out that help.
Right.
And that is all I can tell from that. But regardless of what action was taken, that must have been super jarring for people to hear in court. But for me, if I put myself in the shoes of a juror, to me, that would really solidify, be like, he knew it was wrong and he made the active choice to still do this terrible thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So I personally would probably vote guilty
Yeah.
and for that person to be in jail the longest term possible.
Oh, that's no question.
And also, I don't know that I would struggle choosing the death penalty.
Yeah, no.
To be
I've like it
honest.
doesn't
I don't
change
know.
anything for me. It's just like more of a curious like wonder.
Of course.
But absolutely, I'm with you on that.
Mhm.
It doesn't change anything for me. Like, no.
Yeah.
He's someone who, yeah,
Needs to be
is,
awful straight.
yeah.
So, after only about 2 hours of deliberation, the jury found Brent Christensen guilty. I think that probably was expected,
Yeah.
but heck yes. However, they actually had a hard time reaching a unanimous decision on the death penalty. So, by default, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole,
Okay.
which is still good news.
Still good news.
Yeah, still good
And
news.
taking it back to our previous discussion moments ago, is I wonder if the determining factor for the death penalty was just those jurors' conscience, or if it had something to do with the fact that they knew he did seek out help and they were like, just because, like, if you have someone who did know they have these thoughts and you sought out help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe they're like, do we give him the death penalty or just it might be harder to, like, there's some redeeming quality about seeking out help for yourself when you know you're going through something hard. And so maybe that could have an impact on whether you think someone deserves death or just life in prison. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I wonder if
that's a
it
good point.
potentially affected that, but
No, good point, Bevy. So now, if you happen to have that thought, this is where things get a little ridiculous. And if I was thinking that and was a juror, I'd be like, damn, I should have voted death penalty maybe after this. Because following the trial, Brent had disclosed through his attorney in an immunity agreement that he had put Yingying's body into 3 different bags and disposed of them in the dumpsters outside of his apartment building. They had been taken away by a dump truck 3 days after her death and were taken to a landfill. Now, apparently, this scheduled garbage load had been condensed multiple times, so like squished and manipulated. That had happened multiple times. And given the amount of time from when Yingying had been killed and Brent told them what he did with the body, it would have made it virtually impossible to find her remains. And, if attempted, would have taken up a ridiculous amount of time and resources. And unfortunately, because of these circumstances, Yingying's remains to this day have never been located. And I guess it's just like they already know she's dead, and he's been convicted to like almost the highest level he possibly could and been found guilty.
mm-hmm.
How much time and effort could they afford to put into it? Like, you think of a landfill. He was found guilty 2 years later. You know, that's a lot of garbage to go through. And in order to fit in those garbage bags, it's not like they were just looking for one full body. They were looking for pieces of her body.
Yeah.
And who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me really sad because leading up to the trial, that is all Yingying's family wanted.
Was her to be returned home.
And it didn't matter what state she was in. They wanted to be able to bring her home, even if she was dead, back to China and have a funeral and bury her body. But Brent, being the absolute horrible human that he truly is,
Mm-hmm.
refused to say anything until it was like,
Too late.
now we can't even find her fucking body.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what a dick. Like, he's just, I just, like, in my mind, I sit there, imagine him being just like,
Haha.
go ahead, go find her. Good luck. Haha. Like, that's literally what I picture in my mind. And
Yeah,
I
just more control for him, right?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what word could describe how horrible he is, but he's like the worst, one of the worst humans.
So Becky's team death penalty.
It's situational.
But, like, in this case.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I think someone who is like that, oh, did you get convicted of death penalty? Sucks to suck. Sucks to do a horrible thing and get the worst possible punishment. Sorry. To be clear, I'm actually not like 100% for the death penalty or not, but I think there is a time and place for that punishment. And this might be one of them. Just saying. So on October 11th, before I get into this, I'm going to say this is a much happier part of this case, at least. So on October 11th, 2018, a memorial garden was dedicated in honor of Yingying Zhang at the corner of North Goodwin Avenue and West Clark Street, where she was last seen alive. The garden consists of disappearing stone pathways leading to a bench, a weeping cherry tree, and a memorial stone. A box containing her clothes was also buried in the garden so that a piece of her would always be there. On August 19th, 2019, Yingying's parents announced the creation of the Yingying Fund, dedicated in her honor. The fund supports international students and their families in crisis. The Zhang family donated an additional $30,000, with an additional $24,000 contributed by more than 440 donors. The fund is managed by the University of Illinois, and to this day, Yingying's family and boyfriend grieve the loss of a daughter, a partner, and even though justice was served, it just does not fill the hole that's in their hearts. After the trial and sentencing, the FBI was able to have Yingying's journal released to her family so that they will just always have a part of her with them. And I think that is, given the circumstances, one of the most beautiful things that the FBI could have done for their family. And it's just not every day that you get these professionals who are able to do those things because, evidence is locked in a lot of the times.
Yeah, totally. I'm actually like really happy, and I totally get why you're feeling emotional because I'm the same way. I'm like over here, I have teary eyes as well. I am so happy because it's a very special thing to have them released to her, like her own words, her thoughts. Like that does feel like special.
It totally does. And what I think is so precious about it is that they have like her final like happy moments.
Totally.
And that's what they have to remember her by. And I think that
100%.
is just like,
Beautiful. It truly
yeah,
is beautiful.
yeah, for what they've gone through.
Yeah.
And I just, I couldn't imagine a family letting their daughter go off into this like whole other world, and she's there to progress her life and, get smarter, have these amazing life experiences, and then literally having like the worst thing happen to her in
Yeah.
like the most brutal way. And
To have that to cherish forever is,
uh
I think, something they needed for sure.
yeah. So if Yingying's family hears this, I'm just so sorry you went through that. And like, I just hope you're doing okay, because I don't know if I would be, to be honest. I just don't know. So, well, Bev, this is the like super tragic case of Yingying Zhang. And I just want to thank you for being here with me as we go through this. And thanks for listening.
Well, thanks for sharing, and I love you hugely.
Love you hugely.
And as always, we love you guys hugely. And once again, Happy New Year. Until next week. And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.